The Philippines is being called Asia's rising tiger. But what exactly does this mean? Posting a GDP growth of 6.7% in 2017, the country has one of the fastest growing economies in the world, expanding at a rate unseen in the last 5 decades. The good news is, it's just getting started. The better news is that we have designed a brand new city to be the nucleus of this economic renaissance. Less than 1 hour from the capital, Manila, straddled by hills and blessed with tropical climate all year long. We are building the city of the future, a landmark development twice the size of Manhattan. Originally developed by the Americans for its secure and strategic location in Asia Pacific, Clark is being transformed into a disaster-resilient metropolis that will be competitive and attractive to a global market. It will consist of 4 main districts. The Clark Freeport Zone, an existing mixed-use complex established in the 90s. Clark Global City, which will serve as the primary business district. And New Clark City, which will house satellite government offices and a first-class sports village. Central to all of this is Clark International Airport, which will soon be expanded to accommodate up to 80 million passengers a year. This ensures that travel will be comfortable while trade is seamless. A city unmatched in connectivity, with access to world-class highways and the service of high-speed railways, connecting north to south and east to west, across surrounding seas and over oceans. Clark is a city built as living proof that business in this part of the world is not only easy, but simply better. With no red tape, lower taxes, and endless investment opportunities. This is a city prepared to attract talent so that the country's best and brightest will come here to work and choose to call this place home. Because this is a city that knows how to play, where you can unwind at your own speed, where safety is paramount, and people always come first. This is a city where history and culture thrive, where modern conveniences meet timeless traditions, and progress is driven by passion. This is a city with limitless ambition that may someday find itself among the great cities of the world, built for business so that time is always well spent, and built for people so that life is always well lived. This is Clark.
All right, good day everyone and welcome to HR on the Go, where top trends and hot topics in HR and people management are coming your way. So buckle up and prepare for takeoff. HR on the Go is a joint collaboration of Clark HR Council and International HR Institute, airing live on the CHRC Facebook page every Thursday. If you are interested in becoming a CHRC member, Join us via www.clarkhrcouncil.org/join. All right, I'm very, very excited for our topic today. In today's episode, I am joined by an experienced recruitment professional to talk about how to improve your recruitment strategies with candidate management. In an era of everything instant, fast and automated, like food deliveries, online shopping. When it comes to recruitment, I think one of the easiest way to lose your candidate is for you to have a long hiring process, no? And in this time, not only are companies choosing the best candidate, but also the candidates are already choosing the best employer of choice. And one factor in making their decision includes their experience during their hiring process. And now, to help us understand how to improve your recruitment strategies through candidate management, may I introduce to you our speaker for today. She is a graduate of double degree, Bachelor of Science in Psychology, and Bachelor of Science in Guidance and Counseling from St. Scholastica's College, Manila. She has experience in end-to-end recruitment in the field of IT and fintech industry. She has 14 years of experience in technical recruitment and talent management for the Philippines. And she is currently connected with Infor PSSC Inc. It is a multinational ERP software company headquartered in New York, USA. She is working as a senior recruiter and acting team lead. Now it is my honor to introduce to you Miss Christina Kring Isip, CRSP. Hi, Miss Kring. It's been a
Hi,
while.
May. Good afternoon. How's everything going?
I'm doing great, Miss Kring. So yeah, during my introduction a while ago, and I mentioned about the long hiring process. As an
Yeah.
employee, as a candidate myself, I do despise when the hiring process is long, and I have to follow up every now and then. How's my application going on? Can you provide me updates? We do hate that, no? But
Right.
maybe before we can go into our topic, candidate management, maybe
Mm-hmm.
we can first talk about candidate experience. So what is it
Mm-hmm.
really about, and how important is it
Sure.
for a candidate and an employer?
Sige. But let me start off no to tell you why I chose this topic. Because mainly because everything is evolving right now. No? As you have mentioned earlier, everything is online already, from food deliveries, right, up to hiring and for this application also of the candidates. But pertaining to recruitment, yes, our practices in hiring are really evolving, and I would like to share some of the best practices in handling your candidates no, during hiring and in using a candidate management system, aka also known as CRM or ATS, the applicant tracking system, since they're now surrounded
Mhm.
with, very technical stuff nowadays. So before I'll share with you what candidate management is, of course, from the term itself, candidate management, you have to manage your candidates. But let me share a story first, no, May. I will have some questions also for you. So interview
Mhm.
Ren at the
Mhm.
same
Would
time.
love
You will
that. Would
be yeah, you will be my candidate for today.
love.
Sige. So let me share a story first, no, about me as a candidate during my days. So back in 2008, sige, yan na, nagkalabasan na ng edad, no?
Prep pa lang yata ako noon, Miss Kring. Just kidding.
Because I graduated year 2008 and I
Mhm.
was really eager to look for my first job back then. So there are these two famous job portals online that starts with the letter J. I think the other one is not operating anymore, but the other one
Mhm.
has acquired several job portals as well. I'm very sure you're familiar with
Mhm.
that. I don't
Mhm.
want to
Mhm.
I don't want to name drop na lang din. So I
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
browsing all the job ads, no, submitting my applications, yeah, from drafting my resumes until
Mhm.
I received several calls from these companies I have applied with online.
Mhm.
But the difference is nowadays for Gen Zs, they are receiving calls through their mobile, either in
Mhm.
Viber,
Mhm.
Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and other
Mhm.
online
Mhm.
platforms. But during my days, May, all the calls I receive from these employers are through landline. So I don't know,
Landline.
yeah,
Paano pag
sa lahat
sumagot yung
ng mga
magulang mo, Miss Kring?
yeah, actually, that's one a story that I have to share. It's actually my mom who always used to
Mhm.
answer all the
Mhm.
phone calls. So nakakahiya
Mhm.
rin minsan kasi parang
Mhm.
she was shouting my name, Kring, telepono, trabaho daw. So, it was like that back then. So, sa lahat ng viewers of HR on the go who is kabatch ko and who can relate, no? I'm
Mhm.
not sure with you, May, baka sa'yo kasi through ano na, through Viber na or mobile phones na. Pero during my days, it was still landline. I don't know the reason why. Probably it's much cheaper. Pero
Mhm.
I already have my mobile phone back then. But
Mhm.
then they still continue to invite candidates via landline calls. So that was
Mhm.
the process before. So since dun sila tumatawag, there was a time wherein I used to stay in our living room because I was waiting for calls from
Waiting
this
for a call,
company.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So from the invitation to schedule me, wherein I have to, this, ito, sikat to, the brown envelope. When you are in Makati, wala pang BGC before, when you are walking
Mhm.
along Makati and you have this brown envelope or a white transparent envelope, meaning you're applying. Oh, wait,
Yeah, yeah.
transparent,
Mhm.
yeah. But if it's
Mhm.
an envelope, a brown envelope, or a green folder, or any color will do, meaning you have landed the job already. Nandun na yung mga
Oh.
So that was the
Mhm.
process before.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I used to receive all feedbacks, all the interview results via landline. So during job offers also, then through calls. Oh, may I speak with Christina Isip? You were selected for the position. We would like to invite you over here in our office to check the job offer. Please bring a valid ID and a ball pen. Okay, sige. Punta naman ako. Syempre, excited ako magka-work during that time. And surprisingly, there is also this one company who sent a snail mail. Literally, snail mail
Mhm.
siya. Ang bilis. Parang
Mhm.
after few days lang ako nag-apply. It's like
Mhm.
after 2 or 3
Mhm.
calendar days, I received this
Mhm.
snail mail. And then
Mhm.
it was stated there na I also landed the job. So I have to go to
Mhm.
their office to check their offer so that I
Mhm.
could sign their contract immediately. So that was the process before. So you
Mhm.
see, those are the ways before how you manage candidates no, when
Mhm.
it comes to
Mhm.
applying.
Mhm. Mhm.
Very old and traditional. So
Mhm.
I'm sure if Miss Bless is watching, she is one of my cohort classmates. I'm sure
Mhm.
makarelate din siya. But with
Mhm.
you, May, that's
Mhm.
my question pala. How was you as a candidate? What was your experience when you were, applying for your job, especially when you were hired there with Circologica?
Personally, with my experience, Miss Kring, no, my experience was really email na. LinkedIn was there already. I applied via LinkedIn. There, Indeed and JobsRed and all of that. We all have that na and in my time. So it was very easy. I just have to upload my CV in this job portals, and then for some reason they can go through my CV already. They don't sometimes they won't even ask for it anymore because they got it already via the job
Yeah.
portals. And then it's also amazing because sometimes on LinkedIn I get recruiters will reach out. Parang before, when I was initially applying, it was really me that I will have to build up myself via interview. Unless I get
Yes.
an interview, they'll never know who I am. But right now, no, with LinkedIn na, they can reach out and all of that. So meron ng pagpapirate, pagpo-poach no via online, no. So ang galing. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Right. Thank you for sharing, May. So actually, those are the things regarding candidate management. Those are just
Mm-hmm.
some of the strategies of the companies. No, those are
Mm-hmm.
just some of the approaches. Those
Mm-hmm.
are the old strategies or approaches before.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can
Mm-hmm.
see, very standard, very structured
Mm-hmm.
yung process before.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike now, there's just one portal lang, one click away, andun na
Mhm,
lahat, diba? So
mhm,
that's the difference. And candidate management is very crucial kasi to recruiters. As you've mentioned earlier, you're not applying naman, but why am I receiving this, I don't know,
mhm. Correct,
letter or
correct.
this
Mhm,
messages,
mhm,
diba? Because it's actually one of the crucial components for recruiters to
mhm, mhm,
interact both with the active and passive candidates.
mhm,
So when you say candidate
mhm,
management kasi, you have to maintain or connect a healthy relationship with the
mhm,
candidates,
mhm,
not just with the candidates, but also with your
mhm,
hiring managers. And
mhm,
allow us recruiters to match relevant talent to a particular job, no, that is very suitable for this candidate. So that is candidate management is. So different pa siya sa candidate management system. Si candidate management parang approach lang siya on how you
I
will use
see.
the candidate
Mm-hmm.
management system. So
Mm-hmm.
that what is candidate management is.
Mm-hmm. If I understand it correctly, candidate management system is the tool, and then candidate management is the approach or the process. Correct.
Right,
All
exactly.
right.
Correct.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so for candidate management, how do you manage candidates? How do you do the
Mhm.
process of managing these candidates?
Mhm. Okay. Sige. Well, as mentioned earlier, you have to connect with these candidates.
Mm-hmm,
No?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
From the very beginning of their applications at until the
mm-hmm,
end of their applications,
mm-hmm,
regardless if they pass or fail the
mm-hmm,
interview.
mm-hmm,
Why? Ito tip na din to, no, for recruiters, for aspiring
mm-hmm,
recruiters. No? Why? Because you need to build your network also. It doesn't mean
mm-hmm,
that they failed the interview, hindi mo na sila kakausapin. You still have to interact or get in touch with
mm-hmm,
them because you'll never know if they have landed a job to another company wherein they have acquired certain trainings or
mm-hmm,
certifications, and then
mm-hmm,
later on that would fit na, no, to our new opening here
mm-hmm,
in our company, and then
mm-hmm,
there you could already get an instant candidate, diba? You can
mm-hmm,
already have a
exactly.
pool of
Mm-hmm,
candidates.
mm-hmm,
So that's how we manage the candidates here, particularly here in my company. So we should never end because they failed the interview, but we still have
mm-hmm,
to connect with them from time to time. I know before I'm very guilty, May. I wasn't able
mm-hmm.
to update my candidates. I know who
Especially
you
siguro
are.
in bulk talagang bulk hiring, no, Miss
Yes,
Ring? How do you do it? How do
exactly.
you give feedback, no?
Yeah. So before there was no systems yet, syempre, no?
Correct.
You still have to use the typical email.
Mhm,
So that's it. You have to compose your own regret letter. We call it regret letter
mhm,
because they did not
correct.
make it. And then there is this, of course, the successful letter of their application, wherein
Mhm,
the
mhm,
offer letter, the contract, no, the contract will not be attached yet, no, before.
mhm,
Kasi
mhm,
the contract kasi will be you have to check it physically talaga in the office.
mhm,
And like
mhm,
now, you can already may mga certain what you call it, security ano na features na ang mga
mhm, mhm,
e-documents, di ba?
mhm,
So that was the process back then. You really have to compose a regret letter. I know buti na lang merong BCC sa
yes, correct,
email,
correct.
no?
Kasi may BBCC na puwede mong
Oo.
i-regret letter lahat.
Oo, hindi ko pa naman naabutan yung ano, Lotus Notes. Kasi alam ko before. I don't know if you know what Lotus Notes is.
What is
It's
it?
also
Miss Ring, enlighten me.
parang siyang Outlook, but
Mhm,
very, 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 very traditional siya. Tsaka ano lang siya, very ano lang, specific lang siya on how
mhm,
you will send and receive email via internet
I see, I see.
also. You
Via
can
internet
also
also. Mhm,
Yeah, you can schedule appointments there pero walang mga BCC, hindi
mhm,
katulad ngayon
mhm,
na na-update
mhm,
si
mhm,
Microsoft Teams, 'di
mhm,
ba?
mhm,
So
mhm,
that was it, no?
mhm,
Lotus Notes. So ganun talaga. And then you really have to Excel naman. Microsoft
mhm,
Excel is what we're using already as our database
mhm,
wherein we put the names, the email addresses. So copy paste kami lahat talaga just to
mhm.
give feedback. And I was very guilty before. I'm very sorry to all my candidates wherein I haven't, so sobrang bulk hiring talaga. I haven't, shared the feedback also. And another thing pala, May, on giving feedback to the candidates if they have failed, please
Mhm,
make sure to coordinate with the hiring managers. Feel free to ask why they failed the interview because
mhm,
this would
correct.
help the candidates. If
Mhm,
they were not successful here in our company and they will apply with the other companies, ano kaya, magiging parang coach ka din nila on how will they,
mhm, mhm,
land a job on these
mhm,
other companies they have applied with. So that's how I strategically do
mhm,
the candidate management
mhm, mhm,
before. And nowadays, of course, there's candidate management system that I'll be
mhm,
discussing later on.
mhm, mhm. Mhm. All right. So, what are some challenges in managing candidates prior to a candidate management system versus pag kapag meron kang candidate management system?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, aside from what I have shared earlier,
Mhm,
it's very tedious talaga to send
mhm, mhm, mhm,
emails to these candidates. And LinkedIn before, back in my days, were just starting. So yung
mhm,
sending emails, it was very expensive back then. So I don't have that
mhm,
premium account yet. So
mhm, mhm,
talagang very, very traditional ka. Before, prior my days, sabi ng
mhm, mhm.
sister ko, they were receiving talaga snail mail that
Grabe.
you weren't
Grabe. Parang
successful.
college
Oo.
application na, okay, ano ba, did I get it or not?
Yes,
Yeah, grabe
correct.
yung anxiety, no?
Oo.
Grabe
'Di
yung
ba? So,
anxiety built up nun. Mhm.
uh, and yeah, ganun. And then, pag sa calls din, through landline, very structured. Hello, Miss Christina. We get to inform you that you
Yes.
failed the interview. That's it. And then
Mhm,
there's no reason why I failed the
mhm, mhm,
interview. That's
mhm,
why, that's what we would like to, you know, to share with you. This is the best practice na talaga. You have to provide a personal touch on providing
mhm,
feedback to the
mhm,
candidates.
mhm, mhm. Parang in this time and age, if you do not provide feedback, it's parang questionin ka na. Kasi in the past, parang
Yeah,
uso naman yung, okay, if in 5 days they do not contact me, it means I did not get the job. Ngayon, parang
mm-hmm.
required na for recruiters to really provide feedback. And also, no, parang with the candidates now, parang they would accept. It's not as difficult before. I feel like it's not as difficult na before kasi I would hear, my siguro older friends, no, or my sisters and brothers na they would be so heartbroken if they didn't get the job. Unlike now na parang if they didn't get the job, then there are other opportunities out there. Para ganon. Parang it's easier
Yeah,
now to accept that you did not get the job. Probably because then with the feedback, providing feedback and all of that, medyo mas sanay na din yung mga tao
right.
mag-receive regret letter as you call it. Yeah.
Exactly, because you have to provide a positive candidate hiring
Mm-hmm.
experience to your candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's also one way to brand your company.
Mm-hmm.
So, syempre, these candidates nowadays are, sharing stories to their friends. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
don't apply here because blah blah blah.
Correct. Correct.
This company, they are very, very, very. They have the courtesy to call you, to share you, to
Mm-hmm. Correct.
push you prior to the interview, di ba? So those are the
Mm-hmm.
things that you would really have to practice then as a recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just there as a recruiter just to fill in the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
but hin- no, recruiters are
Employer
not like that.
branding, no? Employer branding din
Yeah,
talaga. Kumbaga,
exactly.
employer branding, sometimes it starts with the recruiter, no?
Yes,
It starts with the recruiter
correct.
because you build up the company and you build the brand
True.
for your candidate. So the word of mouth talaga
Right.
mag-brand
Okay.
this.
Kasi the recruiters are the first line of contact of these candidates. So
Mm-hmm.
you really
Correct.
have to leave a good impression to
Mm-hmm.
these candidates. You're representing the company. So
Mm-hmm.
you really have to, don't oversell also, di ba? Kasi
Of
paano
course,
naman
yeah,
yun?
that's
You're managing the expectations of these candidates, di ba? But you really have to connect with them with personal touch. Yun lang talaga, and then that's it. They would really understand na the reason why they have failed the interview or they have
mhm,
passed. Of course,
mhm,
if they pass the interview, much better
mhm,
yung
mhm,
magiging conversation you with the
mhm.
recruiter.
Okay. Right now naman, Miss Kring, I think it's time that we really delve in na to our topic, no? Because we've been
Mhm.
talking a lot about the traditional recruitment strategies, no? I think now it's, kasi ako personally, I'm not really inclined very much on recruitment per se, so I don't really know the technicals of it. So what really is a candidate management system, Miss Kring?
Okay, sure. So, candidate management system, every detail counts. You can capture all the relevant information about your candidate and make a collective decision to
Mhm,
hire
mhm,
with
mhm,
one-click access. Okay, so
mhm,
nandun na, it's like a one-stop shop. Nandun na lahat. You can view all
mhm,
the candidate information. You can send emails there. You can submit your candidate to your hiring managers for review. You can
mhm,
schedule their interviews, discuss the
mhm,
candidate with your team, assess and rate them, generate assessments and reports. Dun na din. You don't have to use Excel anymore. You can already generate reports
mhm,
from the
mhm,
dashboard coming from the candidate management system. with the other brands, they are also providing their, or they have partnered with background check vendors wherein you can just submit
Mm-hmm.
there all the
Mm-hmm.
documents and the requirements of your candidates, and then
Mm-hmm.
the partnered recruitment, sorry, hiring vendor will already
Mm-hmm.
conduct the background check for you and much more, all within the same interface. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what a candidate management system is. So it's like you will be able to easily communicate, no, with your candidate, having all this information readily accessible within the same dashboard. So that's what candidate management system is.
Grabe, para siyang Facebook pang recruitment, parang gano'n.
Yes.
Or para siyang Google
Oh.
Drive, parang gano'n, 'no? Hindi yun.
Right.
Is it the same with
You
ATS or not, Miss Kring?
Yes, candidate management system. Under that, it's also known as ATS, applicant tracking
Mm.
system, or CRM, customer relationship management system.
Mm.
So
Mm.
marami, overall, the umbrella is the candidate management system, and then there are
Mhm.
lots of clusters under that
Mhm.
one. So ATS
Mhm.
is one of it.
Because before I would hear my recruiter friends, giving advices na when you prepare your CV, kailangan it should be this way because the ATS can
Mhm.
easily read through your CV kapag
Yes.
maraming columns, ganyan. It can sometimes parang mamimiss out niyo yung mga other parts ng CV mo. So
Mhm.
may mga ganong ding tips from ATS pala. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yes, and prior to interview, there are also some guidelines there. In
Mhm.
once you have your profile already, no,
Mhm.
there on the candidate management system, there are certain guidelines also that before it was the recruiter pa who will discuss
Mhm.
to the
Mhm.
candidate, di ba? That, oh, you have to do this, blah blah blah. But now in candidate management system, as mentioned earlier, it's just one click away. You can check there are some guidelines, preparation prior to interview.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everything is there already. A guide on how to connect with this particular, platform that you'll be using for online interviews. You can do
Mhm.
the online, especially the start of pandemic.
Mhm.
Candidate
Mhm.
management system is very efficient to all recruiters because before, prior or pre-pandemic, we invite the candidates to come over here in the office
Face-to-face.
to sign their
Mhm.
contract, right?
Mhm.
But for now, they can already access their contract through candidate management system, and
Mm.
it's being what did you call it? There is this certain security na
Mhm.
features then for all of
Mhm.
these documents kasi legal documents siya.
Mhm. Correct, correct, correct.
Yeah,
Ayan. So, talagang with the CMS, no, candidate management system, talagang nasi-streamline niya yung process, no? So,
exactly.
now my next question is, what are its limitations naman with the candidate
Mhm.
management system? Does it have any limitations? You
Yeah, of course,
touch mo
depends.
yun.
Depends on the company because the system is very costly. It's very pricey. Depends also on
Yes,
the
correct.
the features that you would like to
Mhm.
add
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
the candidate management system. There are certain packages kasi that you would not like to have it all sa isang system.
Mhm.
So parang
Mhm.
siyang a la carte. Parang kang bumibili lang sa fast food. You can select
Mhm.
this only. Ito lang. Ito yung need ko.
Mhm. Mhm.
For
Mhm.
some, you call it HRIS. There is this candidate management system that they can already incorporate the payroll system inside the candidate management
Mhm.
system. So, ganun na nag-e-evolve ngayon. May yung
Grabe,
candidate
pati
management system.
HRIS nasa candidate
Yes,
management system. That's
nandun
amazing.
na lahat.
That's
Kumbaga,
amazing.
parang automated na lahat from the time that they were applying to job offer up to their onboarding. Andun na lahat. They can also access their 201 files as well.
Mhm.
Not
Hindi mo na
the all,
kailangan
the
hanapin dun sa
overall.
malaking mobile. As a recruiter,
Uh,
yung kailangan kong hanapin yung TOR ni employee like this and that. And then you have to scroll through
yes.
one by one the 201 files of the person. Ayan. Diyos ko,
Yeah, I
napakahirap.
remember my internship. May That's what I usually do. Then I had all the paper cuts because I have to get the
Mhm.
ganyan, requirements, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
So, yeah, I
Correct,
remember
correct,
those
correct, no?
days.
I think during internship, actually, even with my internship, that's the first task of the recruiter talaga.
Mhm.
sort the
Right.
201 files. Tapos everyday kapag mag-update ka, yun yung ilalagay mo, sort 201 files, sort 201 files. So it's very difficult. It's
Exactly.
amazing that we do have
Oh.
tools like this. Now, Miss Kring, if you're ano naman, if you can share lang naman, what are some tools that you can, what are these tools, brands, ganyan?
Okay. Yeah, so before prior working here in Infor, we're using Workday. That's one of the most
Workday,
common
okay,
brand.
Workday.
Yeah, Workday, if you have heard of Workday. But currently here in Infor, what we are using is Avature. You
Mm-hmm.
can search it via Google what Avature is. I'm also one of the POCs here in Infor on how to navigate
Mm-hmm.
Avature.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm part of the testing phase,
Mm-hmm.
everything from the
Pilot.
customization,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, from the pilot testing. So I'm part of that team, global team. So we are using this globally, this Avature system. So those are just the systems that I have used
Mm-hmm.
during the time that I've been exposed to candidate management system. But if you would like to get to know more about candidate management system, there are lots available already
Mm-hmm.
locally as well. If
Mm-hmm.
kung gusto nyo, kung budgetarian si company go,
Mm-hmm.
there are, yeah, you can simplify all these applicant tracking system on different software applications. There are
Mm-hmm.
third-party vendors also who are providing that. So there are
Mm-hmm.
lots of ano naman, CMS or CRM or ATS available online, and they could just
Mm-hmm.
coordinate with account managers. What's the best feature? What are the other
Ang hirap siguro with
add-ins?
ang hirap siguro
Yeah.
miscreing in your part. Say, for example, you have to transfer an organization, no? This is just hypothetical. I'm not saying you're going to transfer
Yeah.
organization. Ang hirap siguro if they do not have this kind of tool. Like, you have to go back to traditional ways. And I don't think it's gonna be easy to talaga. Parang, because it's time consuming, right? It's time consuming, all these tools.
Right.
So, ang hirap if you
Yes.
still have to go back to these things. So, it's great that there are
Yeah.
tools like this already.
Yeah, that's why I'm very thankful also of my company, that they
Mm-hmm.
have this initiative to provide to us talent acquisition team using this particular system, because it's very meaningful for all recruiters. No, you can
Mm-hmm.
customize everything there already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But my question lang, Miss Spring, do you
Sure.
think, is it possible na in the future, mare-replace na ng tools na to yung mga recruiters? You think in HR recruitment?
Hindi imposible, May. There's a highly
Grabe,
chance, yeah.
grabe.
If you have heard of the blockchain database, I'm not sure if you're
Mm-hmm.
familiar what a blockchain database is.
Mm-hmm.
Yan na din ang nag-cover ng mga databases natin. Probably
Mm-hmm.
mawawala na yung mga other old database, yung mga narinig mong
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
IBM DB2. Very, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
very technical. I've
Very
been in
technical, very
the
technical.
technical recruitment. Yeah, and the cloud operations as well. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a possibility, but of course, you cannot mitigate some of the expectations with the hiring managers and with the candidates. You relying lang with the system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You still have to have an interaction with your hiring
Mm-hmm.
managers.
Correct, correct, correct,
So
correct.
I think possible, but there would still be a chance for us to still have a part in recruitment. But
Mm-hmm.
basically, yung pinaka-admin works, baka mawala na. But in
Mm,
terms of,
interview.
yeah, nurturing the relationship with the candidates and with
Mhm,
the
correct,
hiring
correct.
managers, managing their expectations, I think we
Mhm,
still have
mhm,
to
mhm,
be part of it by then.
mhm, mhm. Now, my next question is, how do you mitigate the negative candidate hiring experience through candidate management?
That's one of the very challenging talaga, May. But actually, yung question mo, it's a good question that I
Mhm,
think every companies would tell that that's one of their challenges as well.
mhm,
I will tell you, even I don't know
mhm,
with your current company,
mhm,
but
mhm,
with us
mhm,
here, how we usually mitigate, you just really have to, set the expectations. Aside from sending a regret letter, now you have to connect with them from time to time.
mhm,
You have to give a positive experience talaga eh.
mhm,
Kaya one of our SLAs, yun yung maganda, one of our SLAs and metrics is candidate management. So part talaga siya ng role ng recruiter. You really don't have to forget to provide feedback to your candidates. That's
Mhm.
number one rule also.
Mhm.
You're
Mhm.
not just a recruiter to, have those numbers just to fill in 10 positions in a month.
Correct,
No.
correct. They're
Hindi
not
yun ang
numbers,
role.
they're still people.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hindi lang yun ang role mo. You're still part of HR. Recruitment and talent acquisition is still under human resources. And it's
Mhm.
like you're still the business partner of the company.
Mm-mm.
So
Correct.
yeah, and the reason why I don't want, have those negative experiences ng candidates coming from us, because that's one of our goals talaga. Kasi you're branding the company and you're the first line of
Mhm.
contact na, di ba, of this
Mm-mm.
candidate.
Mm-mm.
So
Correct, correct.
yun siguro, first things first, really have to provide feedback para maiwasan na siya, para ma-mitigate na yung mga ganong issues
Mhm.
on,
Mhm. Mhm.
so that they will not experience any negative hiring experience with us.
Kumbaga, no matter how much tools you spend on, no, I think at the end of the day, no, you still have to keep the human in HR, no, you still have to keep the
Yeah.
human in recruitment. So I think at the end of the day, it's still with you, no. If you still have, meaning if you have all of these tools, then I think you have more time to create a personal touch with the candidates or your future employees as well. So.
Right. And to add more of that, you'll be a trusted partner than me of this
Mhm.
candidate.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you can be referred to also to some of their friends, di ba?
Mhm.
Lalong dumami yung network mo, mas dumami yung
Mhm.
pool of
Mhm.
candidates mo. And you could also provide options to your candidates. You're being just transparent, no, of the process. You're not closing your doors. Don't close your doors na to these candidates, nga, as
Mhm.
mentioned
Mhm.
earlier.
Correct, correct. How about naman for hiring managers? How do you ensure that they also create? I know it's difficult. Syempre, it's none of your control everything, no. Pero how do you
Mhm.
ensure that they also keep a positive hiring experience, candidate hiring experience to the
Mhm.
candidates?
Yeah. So here in our company, we have PBM. PBM stands for principal guiding management. We have, it's like a vision mission of the company. So every
Mm-mm.
role and task that we have here, we have to
Mhm.
instill all these guiding principles. So
Mhm.
during interviews, we should apply them as well. And
Mhm.
one of it is respect. So I think
Mhm.
respect talaga is really one of the
Mhm.
most used guiding principles during
Mhm.
the hiring process. Because
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that you are a C level or a director level, you will not
Mhm.
already respect your candidate. You should respect pa din your candidate, regardless of what level they're applying with
Mhm.
us here in Four. So all our hiring managers were actually, being trained naman with
Mhm. Mhm.
techniques and guidelines on how we, how we provide this positive candidate experience.
Mhm.
Kasi if you, I don't know if you're familiar with Pinoy Exchange, currently Reddit na
Mhm.
siya. Or
Mhm.
Glassdoor. I know you're familiar with
Mhm.
Glassdoor.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
very back in my days, Pinoy Exchange pa, that's where I check if the company is good or if they have a
Mhm.
very supporting and challenging working environment. It's just so bad that I have read na may mga nag-name drop ng recruiters, ng
Yeah.
mga
Yeah.
managers. Yeah. So those are the things that we would like to mitigate and we wouldn't want to happen here in our organization.
Mhm.
So that's why from the very beginning, from us palang recruitment up until we endorse it to the hiring manager, we make sure that all these candidates applying here in Infor would experience a great and positive hiring experience that they
Mhm.
could then compare with the other IT companies.
Correct. You mentioned something about training your hiring manager. Miss Kring, it's that is very very important to me because I've experienced in the past na
Mhm.
sobrang ganda ng candidate experience pagdating sa recruiter. Kapag pinasa na sa hiring manager, sablay talaga. Like sometimes, the hiring manager was sometimes they would sometimes even ask the wrong questions or minsan,
Mhm.
walang professionalism talaga. You would know that they're not
Mhm.
trained to do the interview process, ganyan. So I think it's very important also. So to everyone watching us right now, train your hiring managers. It's not just the recruiters and the HR's responsibility to ensure that the candidates are having a great experience when it comes to their application. So,
Right, yeah. And
mm-hmm,
I think our hiring managers are very cooperative naman when
mm-hmm,
it comes to this kind of techniques and approaches no, on providing positive candidate hiring experience. Because these candidates will be part of their team. So they really have to,
mm-hmm,
assess and be nurturing them during the
mm-hmm,
interview, diba? Para,
mm-hmm,
especially candidates right now, depende kasi if it's Gen Zs,
mm-hmm,
millennials,
mm-hmm,
iba-iba yung approach nila. Kasi this candidates has different personalities. Eh. Especially I
mm-hmm,
been with the IT or recruitment for 10 years. I have encountered different personalities within of the candidates. So
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
depende
mm-hmm,
rin sa skill sets. I would adjust myself also if this is their skill set, if this is their level. Ako yung mag-adjust din. And
mm-hmm,
that is
correct, correct.
something talaga that you really have to instill then as a recruiter. Kasi you really have to, get in touch with them. Regardless if they are rude to you, you still have to, respect them. Pero if it's below the belt now, of course, it's the time when you
Mm-hmm,
have to remind them already that, oh,
mm-hmm,
sorry, parang you're hurting my professionalism
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
already. You can do
mm-hmm,
that. Courtesy yun eh. Courtesy yun. So, I think
mm-hmm,
just a respect na lang din as an individual, not just, as a recruiter. But yeah,
mm-hmm.
there were some people talaga that you may encounter may mga ganong classic
Correct,
candidates.
correct, correct, correct. Tapos minsan kung sino pa yung mga C-level na talaga na minsan may mga ganong instances like how do you go to their level ganyan tapos sometimes no you feel as a candidate no and
Yeah.
now Musni, my next question is because you've been using a candidate management system for some time now, what's your
Yeah.
favorite what's your favorite tool?
Feature.
Sure, because
A
you've
tool.
experienced also
Okay.
traditional
Yeah.
recruitment. What's your favorite
Right. Well, of
tool?
course, I have to sell the tool that we're using right now here, which is amateur. Siguro, I would just modify your question. What's the best feature I want now in
Mhm,
candidate
mhm. Best
management
feature, yeah.
system?
Mhm,
I think one is the send emails to the candidates regarding their application status. Kasi nga,
mhm,
before,
mhm,
really having a hard time. Ipiprint ko pa siya, table, okay, check, check, check. Okay, nag-send na ako ng email, get letter. Ganun pa, even during my internship. But now, if they have failed the interview, one click away, then they could already receive the letter that they did not. But there's also an option there for them to apply again after a curing
mhm,
period. So
mhm,
sometimes after 6 months, 3 months,
mhm,
once we
mhm,
get an opening again that would, suitable for their skill sets, then they could apply again. And other thing is that the feedback coming from the
mhm,
hiring managers. Kasi
mhm.
nina-notify sa hiring managers. I know they're very busy because of
Oh,
their
I see.
work.
You get
Yeah.
they get notified that they have to provide feedback with a candidate.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yes.
great. That's great. Parang
Yeah.
required
Kasi
sila.
yeah, so that's one
Mhm,
of the best features I would like to sell us about candidate management system. You
mhm,
could actually
mhm,
ask the provider to have that like reminder. Let's say you only have like 48 hours SLA for them to provide feedback. Kasi you don't want to prolong the burden of your candidates because
mhm.
they
Correct,
have
correct.
active applications also with other companies,
Mhm,
and the
correct, correct.
competition right now is very tight, May. So
Mhm,
as
correct.
dapat you really have to process them quickly kasi if not, then other companies would get them.
Mhm. Unlike before, as I said kanina in my introduction, when you're a candidate, talagang yung mga employers, sila yung namimili ng candidate. Like if they have
Yeah.
5, they have 10, mamimili sila ng final 3 and then they'll pick the final 2, yung mga ganong level. Ngayon, the
Mm.
candidates, sila na yung namimili, sila na yung may top 5 na,
Yeah,
na
na
companies.
company.
So I think
Right,
employer
totoo.
branding is and candidate experience is really part of that as well.
Yeah, very ano sila, partner talaga sila, yung candidate
Mm-hmm.
management and the employer branding. So, kasi for me, no, recruiting the best candidate starts with creating the best first impression eh. And
Mm-hmm.
create a better candidate experience with a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
career site. So, yun nga, the CM, the candidate management system. And
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
would make your life easier also as a recruiter, very efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
also make for the candidates easier to apply. Di na lang sila
Mm-hmm.
mag-print, di ba, ng resume.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike before, during my days, they could just, upload their CVs. They could just, update their CVs via their mobile, then
Mm-hmm.
customize it, and then it will be automatically displayed in the career site. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So, ganun kaganda ang candidate management system. It would really, there's an opportunity to promote your employment branding.
Mhm, mhm. Also, Miss Kring, sorry, ang dami ko talagang questions with
Okay
regards to this
lang.
because I'm very much interested with recruitment as well. I'm just wondering since it streamlines the process. But now, my question is, does it say for example you have to paper screen the CV? Do you also do that with a candidate management system? Is it more effective yung paper screening ng mga ATS, or is it still better if you do it one by one, checking the CV profiles, ganun?
Um, yeah. Well, yes. You still have to check them one by one, especially if there's a
Mm-mm.
particular skill set that you have to look
Mm-mm.
for.
Mm-mm.
Very important yun to check and assess their
Mm-mm.
resumes before you endorse it to the hiring
Mm-mm.
manager.
Mm-mm.
So it's still part of our role. So we cannot
Okay,
streamline
okay,
that
okay.
process
Mm-mm.
kasi it's really one of the main ano siya, task talaga siya ng recruiter. Or
Mm.
else
Pero
you'll be
like, it
questioned.
limits na the choices, correct ba?
Yeah.
Does it have to say where they can select na via LinkedIn, ganyan, hanapin na
Right.
yung mga ganon?
Yeah, and like for example, when it comes to location or
Mm-hmm.
automatic, meron pwede
I
mong
see, I see.
i-adjust doon na all
Mm-hmm.
candidates applying from different countries would receive this particular letter kasi nga the opening is for Philippines
Oh, I
only.
see.
Yeah, so
I
there are
see, I
those
see.
kind of features also.
So it's more of a recruiter's role to paper screen the KSAs,
Yes,
knowledge skills, ganyan. But it's more of yung mga specifics
skill
na
set.
nasa streamline, na filter ni ATS. So that's great. That's really great.
Yeah.
Now I think this will be my last question to you, Ms. Pring. How now naman that we've talked about candidate management system, how will organization choose the right one for them? Kasi alam ko some startups wanting to invest on this, but 'di ba? Paano
Yeah.
nila malaman kung worth it for them?
Okay, correct. Prior selecting the best and most suitable candidate management system for them, they should provide a data first, recruitment data.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
what should be inside the recruitment data? Their hiring workflow. Okay, when we say
mhm,
hiring workflow, yun yung steps from sourcing. Well,
mhm,
the very beginning pala is once they have received an opening, then
mhm,
sourcing, posting it, so they have
mhm.
to review and check the workflow. And
Correct.
if they would like to streamline it, and if there are lots of candidates applying already, walk-in applicants, or
Mhm,
applying online through your job portals,
mhm,
then it's about time to get a candidate management system. You have to propose that to your
mhm,
upper management. You should really have a data first, no? The reason why are we going to get a candidate management system if we're just a startup company? Ano bang purpose
mhm.
yan? Anong
Correct.
goal yan?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
you still have to know muna the workflow no ng hiring ninyo before you could
mhm,
decide if it's really efficient sa company niyo to grab a candidate management system. And your question earlier, what's the best? It depends on your needs nga.
mhm,
Especially if bulk hiring kayo and you would like to send regret letters in just one click, then you could
mhm,
get that
mhm,
feature, from that particular candidate management system. Or if you would like to have before shared folder lang then you would just,
mhm,
di
mhm.
ba,
Correct,
send
correct.
it to
Mhm,
your other recruiters, or you could check other candidates here. Now you
mhm,
could um, get your pool of candidates coming from candidate management system. If you don't have candidates to endorse, then you could just, type in, let's say the skill set is Java developer, then there are some notes there. Oh, they did not they did not pass the interview, then you could get it. Then you could just ask permission from the old recruiter if you can
mhm,
process the
mhm,
next candidate. So it usually depends, May, kung ano yung best candidate management system and the feature, no, that you would like to add on it. And if you have budget, of course, you could get the most price you want. I mean, what,
Mm-hmm.
what I mean is that yung kompleto na, nandun na yung payroll din, timekeeping, meron nun.
RIS.
Yeah, integrated na yung HRIS sa candidate management system. So I think in the US or in Europe, they're already practicing that one. So, well, probably or hopefully, no, depends on the companies and of course the budget of the company.
All right. There you go, Miss Kring. So, ang dami kong natutunan this afternoon. No? Apart from candidate management system, we also talked about candidate experience, how important it is to provide feedback. I learned so much,
Yeah.
Miss Kring. Thank you so much. So,
Sure, no problem. Thank you
again,
also for inviting me here.
Of course, anytime. And again, thank you again for sharing your time amidst your busy schedule. No? And of course, thank you for sharing your expertise in, managing a recruitment and hiring process through a candidate management system. So again, for
True.
viewers, if you are interested in future to go back to this episode and revisit other episodes that we had before, you may do that with our CHRC Facebook page. And if you are interested in becoming a CHRC member, join us via clarkhrcouncil.org/join. Now, Ms. Kring, if you have any final words for our topic today, or if you have anything to promote, please feel free to do so.
Sure, yeah. Infor Manila is located here in BGC and we are currently hiring. So if you would like to land a job here in one of the most prestigious ERP software company, so you should just visit our website at careers, hang on, I'm not familiar, careers.infor.com, sorry. It's careers.infor.com, and then you just have to select the country, Philippines, and then you could just navigate and explore there some of our current job openings. And I would just have to share also to aspiring recruiters like me, kasi some would tell you've been in the recruitment field na for 10 years, bakit di ka lumipat ng HR? So I think mainly because recruiting is one of the best start in creating the best first impression of the company. So I would just like to give some tips lang din to all aspiring recruiters that they should respect all these candidates regardless of their positions. So from rank and file to individual contributors up to the C-levels, you should respect and somehow learn from them. Learn to connect with them. Don't be shy reaching out to them. Kasi currently, before it's very structured. Ngayon, just reach out to them. Connect with them. That's how you build your network. So those are just some of the tips that I could also provide to aspiring recruiters. Kasi nowadays, parang very shy na yung mga, mga recruiters ngayon. So I would like them to at least, stand on their own, speak up, and then just, be on their own. And they have to learn also the proper way to coordinate with the candidates.
Correct. And of course, as recruiters as well, sometimes we're always, parang you wanted to provide the best candidate experience, but at the end of the day, we really cannot please everyone. So, for recruiters out there, na minsan they feel bad, na parang they get negative feedback from their, candidate hiring process. You really cannot, you cannot please everyone. So, there's that.
Correct. You're right, May.
All right. Again, thank you so much, Ms. Kring. Thank you everyone for tuning in this episode of HR on the Go Season 2. So we'll see you again on the next one. Thank you again, Ms. Kring.
Thank you, and good afternoon to everyone. Bye.
The Philippines is being called Asia's rising tiger. But what exactly does this mean? Posting a GDP growth of 6.7% in 2017, the country has one of the fastest growing economies in the world, expanding at a rate unseen in the last 5 decades. The good news is, it's just getting started. The better news is that we have designed a brand new city to be the nucleus of this economic renaissance. Less than 1 hour from the capital, Manila, straddled by hills and blessed with tropical climate all year long. We are building the city of the future, a landmark development twice the size of Manhattan. Originally developed by the Americans for its secure and strategic location in Asia Pacific, Clark is being transformed into a disaster-resilient metropolis that will be competitive and attractive to a global market. It will consist of 4 main districts. The Clark Freeport Zone, an existing mixed-use complex established in the 90s. Clark Global City, which will serve